All right. I think we're live. Let me double check. All right, guys. Yeah, we are. We're good to go. So, lights, camera, action, everybody. We're live here with Chopin from Symphony. They are developing an AI agent called SympsonAI. Chopin and myself have known each other for quite some time. I believe we first met at ETH Denver back in February, but I obviously knew about the project before then. It's been on virtuals a while now. They were one of the first big ones to launch.
One of the OGs.
Yes, one of the big OGs. So, Chopin, why don't you give, people, a lot of people watching, they don't know anything about any of this stuff. So tell people what Symphony is. Tell people what Sympson, your AI agent that you guys have been developing, is. Just give us the lowdown.
Yeah, for sure. So Symphony itself is the infrastructure that powers everything, and it's what we call the first financial agentic execution network. So essentially what that means is that we unify every chain and protocol into one executable layer, and we do so with the fastest cross-chain speeds in crypto at the moment. So you could do any execution from any chain to another chain in under 3 seconds, which for context is like 45 times faster than layer 0 or Axelar. And we enable AI agents that work on our platform, work on our network to execute with verifiable non-custodial executions for any DeFi application. So on top of that, we built our own agent, as you mentioned, like Sympson.
Yes.
And what he is he's basically your AI powered like trading like genie. So he trades perpetuals. Right. That's his focus. So you can go onto his platform. He can give you like tailored market support, market analysis. He learns from you. He has we've been building a lot in terms of his memory. So he actually learns about your trading persona as you're conversating with him. And he actually can build or you can actually execute autonomously on behalf of you. So like say I want to open like a 10x long Bitcoin trade. Okay. So instead of you having to use bridges, wallets, gas, or any of that, you just type it in the terminal. You'll be able to execute it across chains, and you won't even have to do any of the other friction. So we have something that we also enabled in that is called the Symphony Smart Account. This is kind of like a universal account that permits like agentic executions on behalf of the users, fully like secure and non-custodial in manner. The only one that's able to do that, actually. And so when you go talk to Sympson, you can, like I said, you get insights, but you can also talk in very natural language, and he'll be able to distill your intent into a goal and source the best path, liquidity, and protocol to execute the position. We can go much deeper. There's a lot of tech behind the scenes.
That was very, very technical.
Yeah.
I mean, it just has to be, right? Because like there's not a lot of, this is new shit. Cutting edge, right? So
exactly. Like we built everything in-house, mind you. So the whole tech stack for agentic execution and what will become the standard of agentic execution for the future was all built by us, because the current day infrastructure and like current day like projects weren't built with AI in mind. And so this had to be like designed in a specific way to be able to scale to millions of agents and millions of users. And so, yeah, we had it.
Was that very challenging? What were some of the, I mean, this is why I love this type of shit. Cause I'm just like, how did you guys do that? Like how hard is that to do?
It's very challenging. Yeah. Very challenging, which is, we've been building this infrastructure for just about over 2 years now. So we're way ahead of any of the narratives that were even around at that time. Already thinking about this for the future. And so because of that, our moat, one of our main moats is our proprietary tech stack. And also it's the reason for demand that we're seeing from a lot of other agents that want to utilize like our execution rails. And I attribute it to a lot of the success of the Sympson terminal as well, because he's processed now over 75 million in volume, which is the most of any agentic trading terminal. So he's doing well.
Wow. So you guys were dipping your toes into the AI stuff and kind of creating these rails for this type of execution using AI and autonomy to a degree before virtuals really even was a thing. Is that accurate? Yeah. Because I remember hearing about Symphony before, and I was like, I knew about it, but I didn't really know what it was. But that was before I even knew about virtuals,
Yeah,
So
it
yeah,
was so like yeah, so part of our system, right, is so it's all intent based. And part of that is we created our own distributed solver network. So these
wow,
solvers are like you can think of them as like simply like third party market makers across the different chains we have integrated in different protocols. And we always envisioned that those would eventually be replaced by AI agents instead of like human
right,
ran solvers or human ran
gotcha,
nodes, for example. And so
gotcha,
since because of that, we were already building in the execution rails for that. So when virtuals launched, we were like, we already ready, like we already have all the
right,
tech. We can already do all this stuff. We just had to build like
interesting,
a UI. And so we launched our own agent on top of it to kind of like prove out the power of the
right,
infrastructure that we built.
right. It showcases like Symphony's infrastructure,
Mhm.
um, which is pretty robust, I would think, compared to a lot of these other projects. I mean, a lot of
Oh yeah.
projects are just working on the agent itself, and they're using like other people's infrastructure, right? But
Yeah.
Symphony like already had all the infrastructure built, and they're like, we're going to create an agent on virtuals that just uses our own infrastructure. So that's I would love to like know a little bit more about like how like Symphony just seems like it's cross chain, right? So like you could, and it's perp focused. Is that correct too?
Actually, no. So it's complete. You're right in the words cross chain. So
Yes.
completely chain agnostic execution. But Perps is just the first one that we built. That was just to prove out an example of what you could at the hardest level, because no one could
Right.
really do Perps cross chain because of the speed and
Right.
efficiency. But we cracked that. And actually, the whole system was designed for generalized execution. So that means any DeFi primitive is capable of being on there. So that means like swapping, lending, borrowing, like advanced dynamic yield generation. You can imagine like you can actually have like an agent manage your lending, borrowing, or LP pools across every different chain, every different protocol, and be able to rebalance it in that sense. So it's like the
Wow.
perfect unifying force of everything that you can think about in DeFi, and kind of like the key to unlocking or connecting all the different like benefits you get from different ecosystems without
Right.
without sacrificing on speed or security.
Right. Interesting. Interesting. So, there's not too many other platforms that do what Symphony does. Tell us a little bit about the agent itself. Like, how do you use it? What
Mhm.
is it? What is its main use case? Like, if I were to go try to use Symphony right now, or Simpson, the agent right now, what would be my intentions with using it?
Yeah. So actually, we designed it purely from like a beginner standpoint. Right. So it's the UX is very smooth. It's supposed to be very easy onboarding. You basically create a smart account with just an email. Um, and that permits you to utilize assets from any chain you have. So let's say you have assets on Base and you want to execute on Arbitrum, instead of you having to bridge over to Arbitrum or have gas on Arbitrum or any of that, it just all works seamlessly. So that's one. So it's very much like kind of like I would say people who are wanting to trade perps or perp curious, never traded perps or haven't had experience before, is definitely the user base that we're starting to see and having great success with. So like you can come on to him and you can basically ask him basically any question. So he can teach you about perps. Teach you about how to trade. He can give you insights about the market. He can actually scrape of all of Twitter, right? So
Wow.
he can give you anything on anybody's profile. He can give you anything about trending topics, anything like that. He can do technical analysis. He can use indicators. We have actually just launched like a couple weeks ago agentic trigger orders, which is the foundation for where we're building complex like algorithmic strategies
Damn.
that the common person can actually run. So like basically giving
Wow.
you the power of a hedge fund without any of the complexity of a hedge fund, right?
Right.
So instead of you having a code, so you can imagine that as like the baseline like delta neutral strategies during a bunch of yield, or in the future like anything more complex. And but it sounds complex, and that's the point. Like when you had to explain it, it sounds very complex.
Yes.
But the point is that everything of the complexity side is removed, right?
Right.
Um, and in relation to other agents, right, or other agent trading platforms, right? Ours is you talk in very natural language. So you don't have to
Right.
specify chains, you don't have to specify protocols, you don't have to specify bridges, you don't have to specify tokens, right? You just tell him exactly what you want to do and he finds it for you. And so I think that's a big unlock as well for like new users. So instead of them having to like learn about all these different protocols, they could just accomplish what they want to accomplish. And then in the future, it's going to be very much more like like super automated, and you can tune it if you want to be like more manual control or more automation control. But I'm really excited for the automation control to permit people to basically trade without having to even be in front of a screen, right?
Right. Right. And that seems like something that a lot of people would be interested in, because I know a lot of people are into perps, but at the same time, it's also like a
It's
lot of
scary.
people have no fucking clue what they're doing and they're just gonna get liquidated, Like, I mean,
Yep.
I've lost probably $200,000 on perps,
Oh yeah.
like
Oh
straight
yeah.
up. I made a bunch of money, but then I lost it all, and I lost more because it's like, so
And
this can you ask Simpson, like, oh, a delta neutral strategy, like what does that mean? And he'll like fucking explain it to you. Like, is that
yep. Yeah, you can ask him on the education side for sure. Now on the execution side, that will be coming like that specific strategy will be coming out
right?
pretty soon, but it's not out yet. But like for example, you can ask him right now, like, hey, and we actually built our own indicator. It's called the Simpson score. So you can ask him like, hey, what's the Simpson score of Bitcoin today? And it will give
Right.
you a range from like 0 to 100, and 70 to 100 means like it's bullish, like 0 to 30 means it's like bearish, or like short it, and like
Right.
in between is like neutral, so kind of like feel it out. Um, and then you can also ask him on like, hey, what are good like stop loss, take profit levels, and then he'll actually be able to automatically set those for you when you're executing your trade. And you can do a bunch of things like that right now actually. But
Mm.
in terms of trading and perps, I agree with you. I think the biggest like deterrent for beyond the education of how perps work specifically, but I think in just trading in general, a major thing that AI can actually unlock for a lot of people is emotionless trading. Because I think we've all been in the
Yeah.
case where like, especially with
Right.
perps, where you're like, I'm a fucking genius, and I'm like, holy shit, like my thing's up like 1,000% or so, and then you just keep riding it, just like you do, just like how people get burned up meme coins, right? The
Right.
emotion, the greed gets in front of them, or the
It
fear
does.
gets in front of them. Yeah, and they either like round trip it or they get
Right.
liquidated, and then everyone's like, I hate this game, and it's like, but it's because of the emotion, right? The biggest part of trading is being able to control your
It,
emotion,
it
and if
is.
you can actually just remove that variable, because you
Right.
have a bot that's all ran on data and like is low key better than you, because it's like being able to
Right.
watch the live in real time. Then that unlocks so many doors. And so because of that, most of our user base have been new people to perps, or people who have actually never traded perps in their life, right? And we're already seeing like around like a 60% hit rate or like success rate on like trades. Like it's crazy. And that was
That's
even
crazy.
before we added in like the automated triggers. So
Really. How many people
mhm.
are using it right now?
So since launching to the public like about like 2 months ago, I think we opened to the public, we have around 3,000 people who have traded
Damn,
on the
really
platform. Yeah.
3,000 already? And when
Mhm.
did you guys go live with it? It wasn't that long ago, was it? It was like 3
No, it
months
was
ago? 2 months
yeah.
ago? Yeah,
Yeah,
about
about
3
like
months.
start of July, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 that's crazy. That's
Mhm.
awesome. So what has the initial response been of the people using it? Are you guys retaining users? Are they loving it? Like, have you guys had to, like, you know, upgrade
Yeah.
certain things, or, tweak certain things? Tell us a little bit about since it went live, cuz when did you guys launch actually? Had to be December.
January. Yeah,
Was
on
it
virtuals.
January? Okay. So you guys had about 6 months before the actual platform went, or the terminal for Simpson went live,
Yeah,
and
we
I
had
know.
like a
Yeah.
an alpha before that, like a closed alpha that
Right,
was running.
right. I
Yeah.
remember. I remember. How has the user response been? What have you
Yeah.
had to change, or have you added anything since then?
For sure, for sure. Yeah, we've been very like purposeful on user feedback. So we've had the responses have been like overwhelm like pretty like positive on the thing. So I mean, mind you, like in the beginning, it's like it is a beta. So there was like little bugs here and there that we had to fix. Nothing on the execution side. Thankfully, is more on his like memory context and like speed of like his responses, and like sometimes he would like the data feeds we had to like stream faster and things like that for better context. But because of like all the feedback that people have shared with us, we've been able to iterate super fast on that. And then it was more like also like features people wanted, right? So it was like
Right.
stop loss take profit was a big one that people wanted, so we were able to accomplish that very fast as well.
Nice.
Um, and that's the thing. I think you have to like especially when you're like an agent terminal or something like new age like this, you have to be very open to feedback from your users, because people will tell you what you want, and then if you get and you be able to decipher what is the real signal from the noise in that feedback, and figure out what's the best path for things to make this a better protocol for everybody. Um, and so, yeah, because since we've done that, now everyone lately has been like very, very excited to be using it. There's still more updates that we have coming in, especially like his V2 UI is something I'm excited about. But yeah, it's constantly moving forward very fast.
Um, one question I have now, Symphony itself, will there be more AI agents you think that they create using the Symphony tech? Because I know it's a very,
Yeah,
like you said, very proprietary and robust tech stack that's got,
yeah,
basically it's just like the tech itself. It's got stuff that no one else is even remotely close
yeah.
to
I'll show you.
having. Yeah, yeah. I'm curious to know like what's next. And from
Yeah,
like a product, I'm sorry, Joe. I just like from a product point of view, like how do you go about like segregate? Like, are you going to be like Simpson is just like the perp guy, and then we're going to create like another specialized one for like a different type of? Is that how you go about that, or how do
so
you?
it's
Yeah.
very interesting, right?
Yes.
Because it's
Yes.
like we're creating what we want to be the future of the agentic economy and become the standard for all agentic execution in crypto,
Right.
right?
Right.
Um, and since like from the demand already from like this from what people have seen from the success of the Simpson terminal, we've actually gotten a lot of inbound demand. We haven't even done any outreach really. And because of that, we already have like a little alpha here. We have about 300 new agents that will be coming online on the Symphony network in just the next couple months. So our
Nice.
pipeline has been flowing, and that keeps growing very a lot more rapidly as well. And to your question, right? Like, is it segregated? Yes and no, right? So it's
Right.
kind of like it's a different way of thinking about it. So actually, the way the agents work together can be very unique in the sense that like maybe one agent, for example, like Athena, right? They do algorithmic like trading on perps, right? But it's more on the algo based side of things. So you can
Right.
actually plug that in into Simpson, for example, and have them work together where he utilizes the trading strategy that Athena's writing and presents it to users and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So you can work together like that.
Is Athena using Symphony right now? Is that what you just said?
They will be.
They will be.
Mm,
Interesting. I did not know that actually, because I
yeah.
know Greg pretty well.
Yeah, Greg's a great guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love Greg.
lots happens in the shadows.
You know what? We're planning a little did he tell you about that actually? I don't know if you'll be around. We're planning like a virtuals meetup for
Oh, really? Yeah.
us Midwesterners.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's in October. We got to get you in on that, Chopin. But
For sure.
yeah, anyways, so another question. Will you guys like so if Athena is going to be using the Symphony tech
Mhm.
to kind of enhance because I know Athena's all about like perps, right? And I know a lot of projects, well not a lot, but I know at least a couple that are using their data. Um will you guys have other agents? Like do you expect a lot of other agents to start using the Symphony tech because
100%.
like it's not easy. You can't just like develop cross chain stuff. Like that's a very complicated, you know.
You're getting me
Yeah,
excited. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. Awesome. So actually, two things here. Like our thesis is that there will be more agents than there will be human users on chain and doing transactions, and you kind of already
Right.
see that with bots. If you call
Right.
like if you frame like MEV bots or any of those kind of things like on chain, they do more transactions, more volume than anybody than the humans do
Right.
already. And so flip that to agents, right? So even if it's not agent terminals like or agent projects that people interact with, but it's just agents completing on-chain actions that will be run through a Symphony.
Right.
But even on that more, right? It's very complex. The tech is very complex, right?
Yeah.
But what we did is we cracked the integration side of things. So we've distilled it down to the easiest way you can make an agent integrate into us, right? So all they have to do now, we built this whole like self-service portal for everybody that we work with. All they have to do is register their agent and simply send us like a JSON file, like the easiest thing you can do, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And
Right.
immediately in seconds, you're able to interact with any DeFi protocol on chain. Right. So it's like we can actually take any agent team who has no experience, no knowledge of the blockchain, and get them on chain within like an hour of
Wow.
integration. Like it's super simple.
So say somebody has like a Web 2 agent or like something that
Yeah.
you could just be like, you want to start trading perps, bro?
Yeah,
Well,
dude, you you're hinting at
that's what-
a war plan for a global agentic domination. Yeah,
have you ever heard of them perps, bro? Just getting them hooked on drugs. No,
exactly.
right,
It's like bringing the casino to them. Yeah.
right, right. No, that's great. That's fucking awesome, actually. Tell me a little bit about the team behind Symphony. How
Yeah,
big
for
how
sure.
big are you guys? How many devs do you guys have on it? Because like I don't know any of
Mhm.
that stuff about you guys, and I've always wondered it. I'm like, it seems like it's got like some muscle behind it. So tell me
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit about the team and stuff like that.
yeah, we've been building up a lot actually. So now we
Have you?
are a team of 12, um,
Damn.
which is an upgrade from a year ago when we were just us four co-founders. And for context, like the backgrounds, right? So myself, I used to work on autonomous commercial hypersonic aircraft. I had a startup building that and
I remember you
spacecraft
telling me that.
systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good.
And then our CEO Vivaldi, he used to work at MetaMask building like the MetaMask swaps and the cross-chain aggregator systems.
Right.
Uh, our CTO Mozart, he used to work at Kraken, building DeFi
Oh, really?
infrastructure there.
Damn.
And then our chief scientist Beethoven, he worked at Axelar building interoperability solutions. So it was perfect. We came like everyone had a little piece of the puzzle, and we
Right.
came together. Like if you think about our tech stack, it
Nice.
makes a lot of sense of where you
Yeah.
see the layers.
Yeah.
And then the rest,
It was like perfect team for that exact use case, pretty much.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the team, yeah, they come from various backgrounds. Like we have somebody with like a master's in AI and had his like was the like CTO at a tech AI startup. We had a we have people from Kava, we have people from Aki, we have people from Say, we have people from all these different teams that all come together to like again like bring their own piece of the puzzle to create like the vision that we want for this future, right? And
Right.
so we're moving very fast, and actually like the next people we have to kind of hire is ironically like is our sales team, because we're
Yeah.
seeing so much demand for infrastructure from
Right.
inbound. It's like we might as well start now doing some outreach and see, and like once we built
Right.
this portal and everything, like really
Right.
accelerate the production of that. So
Interesting. Interesting. So, you guys are pretty stacked as a team, especially Symphony. Now about Simp, the agent, I always called them Simp, right?
oh yeah,
Everyone probably does. I'm no different. I'm
Simp
just a
Army.
D. Yeah, I'm a degen myself, right? But how does Simp token, like what's the token itself? How does it accrue value? How is it
Mhm.
used? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. So there's some interesting mechanics behind it. So Simpson, or you can stake Simp, for example, to you know beyond like just earning Genesis points or whatnot. You actually earn them to earn multipliers on our platform. So when you log in and you see your profile page, you'll see this little tab that says multipliers next to fans, and fans are like our data points. So it's kind of like this way to earn a lot more like points on a program for our upcoming like rewards program that we're having later on. Um, that's one thing. Another thing is that we do token buybacks with a lot of the revenue that we work with, and we're actually going to be announcing a lot of details around that coming out. So definitely stay tuned for that. And we
Right.
see that as kind of like, if anything, in any token, like those kind of things are like, staking and buybacks are probably the best things that you can add for utility,
Yeah.
for tokens. And so, yeah, it should be get very exciting very soon here. Um, but yeah, and then yeah, so
How does it? Yeah. Go ahead.
Simpson Simpson's token is the agent token, right? So
Right.
if you imagine it, an easy way to explain it is like, layer zero to Stargate, before the acquisition
Right.
recently, right?
Right.
Where Stargate was an application built on top of layer zero's infrastructure, but layer zero is the infrastructure. So Symphony itself will have our own token that will
Right.
be coming out later in the year in Q4. But
Mm.
Simpson is a Smart or Simp is the like the consumer app token, right?
Right.
And Symphony is
Right.
like the B2B token.
What does the agent token or the Simpson himself, how does he make revenue? Does he take like a little percentage of each trade made, or how does it work?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are gonna like this actually. So it's a very straightforward revenue model and
Yes.
something that like basically we are able to do. So there's actually zero terminal fees on our
Nice.
platform.
Wow.
Yeah, so we don't charge anything to the end user. Now, what we do is every underlying protocol that we integrate, for example, like Gains Network or like, the GMX or something like that, right?
Right.
Um, we actually have rev share deals. So all the volume that we
Oh,
bring to them, we get a portion of the fees that is generated on their platform, and that
nice.
goes back into our treasury, and that's what gets distributed.
That's legit.
Um, yeah, so it's very aligned on, from the user's perspective, from our partner's perspective, because obviously we're bringing them a bunch of volume and users they didn't have access to from other chains,
Right.
and it just makes sense for us as well.
Right. How many different platforms are you guys integrated with, like GMX and all of those? How many different
Mhm.
ones?
Yeah. So on the right now, yeah, like I mentioned, it's like all perps right now. So it's like Gains, GMX. We're about to finish Avantis, and then we're also finishing up Hyperliquid as well. That's coming out too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hyperliquid. Damn. Damn. Do you expect like a boost of users? I mean, that's where
Mhm.
everyone trades the perps. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's huge. So you could basically program the agent or, through natural language, say,
Mhm.
now here's a question that I always have when it comes to these types of things. Do you guys take in any data? Like, I mean, I'm sure you do, right? You're taking in data. That's how the agent kind of knows what to do. Do you
Mhm.
get what types of data is inputted into the Simpson agent to be able to intelligently make these trades? Like, where does that data come from?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We
that's
have we have tons of data sources that we basically aggregate as well. So we have like Glassnode, we have like Lunar Crush, we have obviously all Twitter. We have we're going to be expanding into Telegram groups as well. We have Binance, all the like centralized exchange data feeds as well. And then a lot other that probably I don't remember that off the top of my head to be honest with you, but I know there's like at least like a dozen different data sources that we pull from,
right,
all coming together. But
right,
um, yeah, it's important to have the best kind of data, so we
right.
do pay for it,
Yeah,
because it's like any LM, right? Like it's a product of the data that you put in. So
right,
the better the data, the better the LM, the better the results. And
for
so
sure.
I think that's why we're seeing like very good results.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you guys get any of the data from any of the other agents in the virtual ecosystem, or do you guys just like pay for like? I mean, obviously, you said you can scrape Twitter, so you're paying for the Twitter API. Are you guys just going for like the main sources of data, or like, that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, we realize that a lot of the agents source the same data source,
right,
or like at least have a lot of overlap.
right,
Um, but there are some interesting ones that are coming up that are kind of creating their own. So
right,
we are in talks with them to try to see how we can do that. Actually, on the data side, it's actually very interesting. Like most people aren't able to scrape Twitter like we are, like the full extent.
Right.
And so that's actually something that we are happy to provide like integrate like partners with as well. So it's kind of like we swap a little bit.
Damn. That's awesome. Yeah, because I know like there's the Gloria agent,
Hmm.
right? They're doing like that's like such a crucial aspect of trading perps is like trading off of like news that comes out
Hmm.
from the macro aspect, right? So, I've
Yeah,
always said like if you're gonna trade perps, like you should be talking to the Gloria devs because they're, I'm not trying to shill Gloria or anything, but like when it comes to perps, I'm like, that's like one of the big things is like making sure your agent can respond to anything. If somebody bombs another country or something like that, it's
100%.
kind of
Yeah.
important to, because
He yeah, Simpson actually right now he has a lot of macro understanding. Like you
does
can
he
ask
really?
him, and you can ask him for context on it, like explain like Trump's tariffs or some shit like that,
Right.
or like the trade wars
Wow.
going on right now,
Where's he
and he
getting
can do
that
it in
in?
real time.
Where's he getting that information?
Yeah, that's a question for the devs. You're
Yeah,
gonna.
okay. I'm
It's,
like, because he just magically comes up with it. But no, that's
yeah.
interesting. So what are the next steps? Are you guys gonna keep, I know Simpson, he's basically doing what he's meant to do.
Hmm.
Are there things that
Yeah.
you're planning on integrating, in the near future? Like what's the plans for the development on that end?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Next steps are like adding in a lot more different features, like complex things. So when I
Right.
mentioned those, for example, like when I mentioned those agentic trigger orders, right? I'm really excited for those because that was literally like it looks right now like stop loss take profit, but that's the foundation of which we're going to build a lot of like these strategies and what
Yes.
other agents can run strategies.
Right.
So
Right.
very excited for that to come out. Then we also have we're like in works and like in shop of like our V2 like UI. What we're trying to do here is like we always knew that chat-based terminals aren't going to be the end all be all of like
Right.
interfaces, right? But it was a good start. So what we're thinking about is imagining what the new age UIs look like because we also have another thesis where in like 2 to 5 years all DEX, like the traditional DEX UIs, are probably going to be abstracted away to the backend.
Right.
And a lot of things will be driven through AI powered finance, or at least an aggregated finance platform. And so, what does that look like, right? So it's kind of
Right.
in our imagination is trying to like be the four leaders in that development of like how we like frame it, how we integrate the agent into it, how it looks. I think a lot of people have been asking for like charts and stuff on the platform, which would be really cool. So we'll add those in, but it would be even something even better where as you're talking with the agent, for example, right, you can actually annotate the chart in real time, show you like the stop loss take profit levels, show you the strategy that's running. And you can actually see it in real time or like interact with the chart to like prompt the agent in a sense. And then
Right.
another thing is we'll have is like instead of you having another thing we realize with a lot of terminals is like people get prompt paralysis where they come on, they're like, I don't
Right.
know what the fuck to
Yeah.
ask, like I don't know what to start.
That is
Um
that the term people use is prompt paralysis? That's great.
that's that's what I call it,
Yeah.
yeah. um so yeah, so like that. So what we're doing is called adaptive prompting, and that's already in development of where the agent's actually going to start prompting the user
Right.
every now and then. And so like, you know,
Wow.
when you first log on, he'll prompt you to get you started. He can like start learning more about and building like a better like holistic trading persona about you. So
Right.
he'd be able to, when he's prompting you, be able to recommend you strategies that are in line with your goals and your like risk factors, risk tolerance, and stuff like
Right.
that. Um, and so it's just like overall, just keep pushing the needle on what like the like finance looks like on chain.
Right.
And then move past perps, right? That's the goal, right? Perps is never the end goal. Like the everything else will become very interesting. So like when we have swaps, when we have lending, we're already talking with a bunch of different protocols, some of the top protocols across crypto, right? Um, start integrating those in our outward expansion as we move to other chains. I mean, that's why we're kind of here as well with like the Monad crew at their
Right.
founder program.
That's right.
Um, because we're basically going to become day one the best place to bring people into Monad
Right.
or bring people into other places, right?
Absolutely.
And so working strongly on that, and then that gets cool too, right? Because then you have agents that can run not just perp strategies, but you have agents that can run lending strategies. You have agents that can run strategies that can bind multiple primitives. So you can imagine like you tell your agent, hey, like run this strategy for perps. Every time you take profit, rotate that into a lending protocol, and then constantly rebalance my rebalance my yield, or to rebalance my portfolio to earn the most amount of yield over a period of 30 days and come check back in with me. And so like I don't even need to be in front of the terminal. That's what I really want. I want that. I don't want people
Right.
to even have to go onto the terminal. I want people to be able to just type it in one prompt as and very easily be able to
Right.
run like quant level strategies and then come back and see like profit in their bank. Right.
That would be ideal. Yeah. Just make it so ridiculously easy that even like your grandma could do it.
And it sounds far-fetched, right? But it's very possible.
I
But
think
it's
it
only
is.
possible on our tech.
Right, exactly, because you guys have all those different options, like the cross-chain nature of the whole tech behind it is what actually enables the profitability, the ability for people to use it in a robust manner. I mean, I would imagine a lot of these similar things that are kind of going the same direction, but like people are like, well, I heard about this token, and you're like, well, there's no liquidity for that on this chain, or like you can't
Yeah.
get that here, but with Symphony you can.
Or
Um,
or, or
yeah,
even like or even like I mean a lot of things, and this always happens in crypto, but like optics wise, people sound a lot similar, but you have to really this is where you had to actually kind of do your due diligence
right,
sometimes, is
right,
like
right,
what because a lot of these different agents, right, they run on black strategies, so you don't really see it. Um, you don't really get to have customizable and the autonomy. You have to be very specific in your instructions to the agent, basically hand holding the agent as it's hand holding you. I don't really know where the AI is in those things. And then another thing is like it's a lot of times you have to deposit into like an agent's wallet, so it's very like custodial in that sense, and not a trustless manner. And you have to take, and because of that, you take on a lot of risk. In our platform, we're the only ones that can do verifiable, non-custodial, autonomous transactions
true,
across chains.
true. Yeah, that's very true. I didn't even think about that, but yeah. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in Malaysia. I know you're out there right now, Chopin. Um, it has something to do with Monad or
Hmm.
Monad.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I
yeah,
I did some of their test net. Tell us what that's all about.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah. So we're very close with the Monad ecosystem, as one of our chains that we will be like expanding to as well. And as such, we actually got accepted into the Monad Founder Residency Program. I think over 300 teams applied, like 15 or were accepted, and we're in the first cohort of 8 people, or
Right.
8 teams. And then out of those 8 teams, only 3 got selected to do the demo day at the end of it, which is actually tomorrow, where we'll be pitching in front of like 200 different VCs. And we were one of those teams that got accepted to it. But throughout the program, it was very focused on like a lot of mentoring, a lot of like specifically on how to find target audiences, how to refine product, and how to
Right.
like grow exponentially.
Nice.
And so we've gotten like a bunch of great advice, great ways of thinking of things, and how to like basically dominate the market in a sense, from some of the top minds in the ecosystem.
Yeah. Didn't you
So it's
say
been a great program.
there's 200 plus teams there, and only 3 of them got chosen to kind of present to all the VCs? That is that
No,
accurate?
there's 200 plus VCs actually. Yeah,
Oh shit.
only three
Okay.
teams in front of 200 VCs. So
Damn.
you can see the math
Damn.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So how long is this whole thing?
So it's been running for 2 weeks. So the
Wow.
last day will actually be Friday. My time, I guess, is tomorrow. But
Yeah.
you guys will be 2 days.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've been here for 2 weeks. It's actually at the network school. If you are familiar with it, it's Balaji's, the XCTO of Coinbase. It's his
Okay.
like based on his book, uh, the Network Society.
Wow.
Um, and so it's actually like basically making these kind of like different societies of like people where they can like interact with and like kind of spread ideas. It's very interesting. I would recommend people looking into it. But it's basically a place people can come lock into. Like
Right.
around here, there's not much there's not much to do, and I think that's on purpose because they want you just like to
Yeah.
lock in,
Straight.
get a lot of work done. So it's been waking up, working, going to bed at like 2 a.m. and then doing it all over again.
Yeah.
So
It's
full
not
grind
just
for 2 weeks.
yeah, it's not a bunch of fun and games. It's you know,
Yeah,
it's serious shit. So is the whole
exactly.
team there, or is it just you, or like a couple of the people on the team? How's that going? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it's me and Vivaldi. Yeah, we're both here.
Okay, so they sent two of you out there, and they're like, go to this boot camp and
Yeah,
figure
exactly.
out what we need to do. What's the next
Exactly.
step? That's fucking hilarious.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, we
what have you guys learned? What's one of the cool things you guys have learned? What do you plan to take back to your team? Tell us
a
something.
lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a lot of breakthroughs actually, in terms of like how we want to move forward in like the global distribution plan of things. Don't want to share too many details. I don't want to front run myself here, but
Yeah.
it'll be very interesting. I would say we have a
Yeah.
very exciting plan that I think um, a lot of people, a lot of agent teams should be thinking about, but exactly why I'm not sharing it.
Yeah.
um,
For
but
sure.
on top of that too, we've also launched a very big like experimental growth campaign, which is what we call the biggest on-chain trading competition in crypto history. And I actually posted like
Right. I
an
saw that.
article out explaining the theory of the flywheel. Because of the nature of our revenue model, we can do something very interesting that's a very sustainable and attention growing flywheel effect for a trading competition, right? Most
Right.
trading competitions, people have to pony up a lot of money and they don't want to do that. And I think the biggest on chain one was like 40K. We're already past that. So we're
Yeah.
technically already achieved that title.
Wow.
Um, but on top of that, how it works is that the flywheel effect is, you know, all the fees that we generate go back into the prize pool. So the more people trade, the more the prize pool grows, and so the
Interesting.
more, and the flywheel is, you know, more trades equals more volume equals more fees equal more revenue, or more rewards, bringing more traders and vice versa, and then it kind of like expands
Interesting.
past that. So we're
Interesting.
kind of
Yeah.
running this model. Yeah, we're kind of running this experiment that like I think actually a lot of other protocols could replicate and use as like a standard for running kind of on-chain competitions
Right.
that not only reward like incentivize sustain like real activity on their protocols, but also reward people in meaningful ways. And actually, a part of that, we have two tracks that people can win. So the goal, one of the tracks is P&L by dollar amount, so like skill based, right?
Right.
But also as you're competing in that track, like for the top on the leaderboards in P&L, you also gain these things called raffle tickets. And those raffle tickets are for people to get lucky, essentially, right? So you can, even if you're using the platform, you're not the best trader or whatnot, come try it out, and you can earn raffle tickets. And if you earn a raffle ticket, you have a chance of even winning 40% of the prize pool. So it's very significant.
Right.
Um, yeah, and so like is that way to like bring people in, test this new experimental model that we could probably run in the future as well. And yeah, and just like kind of like give back to a lot to the community that we have.
You know, a lot of trading competitions I've seen, they basically have a static prize pool. So you guys are basically taking the money that you get back from these protocols or these fees and you're putting it back into the prize pool. So
Hmm.
you guys start at a certain level and then it just like starts increasing. So like
Yep.
what type of increases have you seen? Is it like 100% increase? Is it like 25%? Are you guys like increase the prize pool by like a pretty significant amount? Like how does that has that
Hmm.
you guys are the first people to do this, right?
Yeah, I would say it was about like probably around the 25 right now. Like I mentioned, it's like an
That's
experience.
legit.
I think it's more like an awareness thing, but it's been
Yeah,
going actually better than I thought.
that's
I mean,
awesome.
the stretch goal that we put out for there was 200K. That's the prize pool we wanted, or like very ambitious, and we knew pretty like even before launching it that that's a stretch goal. Like fuck it,
Right.
but like that's the idea, right? That's the kind of like things like it's not impossible to get there. Like if you
Right.
have like 10% of the volume of Hyperliquid on running through this competition right now, you would get there very easily, you know.
True.
And so like that's to prove out the model of what we're doing. So about every 10 million in volume we add about just over $2,000 into the prize pool. And so it creates that flywheel. So we're expanding. We are bringing a lot more groups, so like seeing a lot more interest into it, but it's been very good.
That's awesome. Now I did kind of say at the beginning, like you could potentially kind of show us a little bit about how Simpson works. Are you willing to do that on
Of course.
stream? Yeah. All right. Well, let me add this to the stage here, and if you want me to take it off, so you can. Okay, you're good to go. Are you good to go, Chopin?
I'm good to go. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you guys
Yeah.
can see we got the Simpson terminal up right now. Let's see. Let's say I want to take out like a perp on anything. Just just
Sure.
go. Just,
Yeah.
just show us.
Let's
Yeah. Just show.
let's
Yeah.
do it as if you were new. Like,
Right.
I'm new.
Yeah.
Tell me some top trending coins right now. And here, when you log in, by the way, it will give you some examples of stuff that you can do, just for people's context.
Nice.
Um, but yeah, you can see like a lot of like he'll generate a lot of different information, so you can trade all these kind of things. So let's do, I don't know, like Pengu, right?
Right.
I like the penguin. So one of my favorite things to always ask is the Simpson score. So you can ask, what's the Simp score of Pengu? And actually, what the Simp score does is it's our um, in-house indicator that we built. So what it does is it aggregates technical analysis, market analysis, and social sentiment all into one easy number. And so
Nice.
you'll see like he comes back that it's like a 31 right now. So it's pretty much it's leaning short. And then it'll give you like the breakdowns of all the different like technical indicators, and you can ask him anything about this, like explain all those things. So
Right.
let's open a trade, right? So open a 10x short on Pengu with yeah, $20, right? So now what's happening is it's actually so we're putting in this intent, right? So now he's processing our intent. And what's going to go out is that it's going to basically distribute to all the different solvers, and you'll find that they'll come back with like a quote like this. And so we create the position. So now it's finding the optimal path, source of liquidity for this thing. It found that. And now it's actually executing the trade across chains. So for
Wow.
example, in my portfolio, my USDC is actually on like Base or an Arbitrum, right?
Right.
But it took it from Base. Uh, and what it's doing is actually executing on another chain. And you see how
Wow.
fast that was, right?
That was
Did you
yeah.
Yeah, and another thing to notice here is, did you notice any wallet pop-ups? Did you notice
Nothing.
any of
It's
the thing that
all
you have? Did you
abstracted. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. And so now you can actually come here and see your position like in details and stuff. And you can actually start like I can edit the position as well for people new. So like I can say like a take profit, I can set a stop loss. I can even ask him like what are good stop loss and take profit levels for a short on Pengu. Um, and notice how you can talk very like normally, like it's
Yeah.
basically like as if you're texting a friend, right? And
Right.
he's able to actually recognize that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing as well. So he'll be able to come back with like these kind of like things, and so like yeah, so he can give you like some stop loss conservative levels or whatnot. Obviously, none of it's financial advice. So, well, for all the lawyers out there, don't come at me. But yeah, so these are like examples of what you can do, and then you can also go into
Awesome.
profiles of and see like your balance. You can see your highlights. You can see your unified
Oh,
account
wow.
across the
That's
different
nice. Yeah.
chains.
That's real nice.
Come here. You can see how many fans you've attracted, the multipliers you get.
Wow.
Um, and you climb the ranks and then there's a leaderboard in terms of
Nice.
fans going on as well.
Okay.
You get your trade metrics of like that.
Legit. Yeah.
And then referrals is actually dropping very soon. I'll put that out there
Nice.
for the
Okay.
New Year's as
Okay.
well. So that's coming out.
Very nice.
Here is like um your Symphony Smart account address. So all you have to do is like deposit, and you can deposit from like basically the chains we have integrated right now for any of the assets we have.
Nice.
Um, you can withdraw at any time. So when you're chatting with him at the beginning, right, it's going to tell you that you have 5 free messages a day. Okay. And it's going to prompt you to deposit. I think we dropped down. I think it's $10 now.
Oh,
But
okay.
depositing does not mean paying. I want to put that. I don't know
Right.
why people got confused by that. You can withdraw it at any time. So it's like
Right. It's just
it's
like,
just so
yeah,
yeah.
you have to make sure
It's
you're
mainly
legit, you know,
yeah,
gonna
it's
use
mainly
it.
to make sure you're legit and not like abusing like our
Right.
open API credits and shit. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
not,
for sure. I'm
um,
yeah, I know
go
I know
ahead.
how that goes, so yeah.
Yeah. Another fun one is we had like an Easter egg here is like we can roast people,
Oh,
right?
really? Shut the fuck up.
It's
Gross.
one of my favorite things. And he's actually
So
so what he's
funny.
doing is he's actually going to your Twitter, he's scraping everything on it. And so you'll notice it's pretty direct and he doesn't really hold back. Um
Wow, you fucker. I just keep buying wire. Yeah, fucking what a faggot. That's fucking hilarious, dude. I'm getting on just for that.
yeah, it's actually one of the things like so
That's one
Simpson
of
was
the
the
best things.
yeah, so Simpson was the one of I think the fastest graduating agent on ACP, right? I think we
I
did it like
remember that now that you pointed that out. I think I remember. Wasn't he roasting people like really badly at one point?
yeah, so if you go to virtuals actually right now and interact with the Simpson agent, roasting is one of the things you can do, and he'll actually like he'll post it from his main account. So
That's
you can anonymously roast people from
hilarious.
his main account and he'll add them and stuff. So it's
That's
kind of fun
so
with them.
good. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to actually use that. I'm roasting all you degens in 1000x mines. That's
And
so
then
funny.
for new users, a very helpful sheet that we created is this prompting cheat sheet. Let me know if it pops up on the screen. Uh, you
Yeah,
see it?
I got it. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's some example prompts that you can do. And like some of this is different things. Or actually, I have to probably go up update this because he had a lot of new things that are coming, but this gives you a good gist. So there's a lot of market analysis. You can do technical analysis on different tokens. You can do social sentiment analysis and examples, Simpson score, like I mentioned before, and then like the
Right.
Easter eggs. And there would be a lot more different ways you can utilize him, but this should give you a good like
Yeah.
starting.
Nice.
Um, but
For
yeah,
sure.
it's that simple. When you're logging in, all you needed to do was basically put in an email. It will create you this wallet. You deposit, a couple like $25
Yep.
of USDC or wrapped ETH for now, and you're
Nice.
good to go.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool. So the Malaysia Monad conference finishes up what Friday tomorrow for you, right? That's
Correct.
yeah, that's happening. What do you guys think? I know I kind of asked you this already, but what do you guys think um will come out of this whole thing? Are you guys going to integrate more with Monad? Will you guys be like, what's the, yeah, it's Monad focused, right? So I want to know a little bit more about like how that's,
I mean,
you know,
if it tells you anything, right?
yeah,
Um, They must like us a lot, and we must be doing really good shit because we're not even
right,
on Monad, and we were one of the
right.
accepted projects into this thing.
I know.
Um, and so, yeah, we plan to work very closely with a lot of the different Monad projects. We want to
That's
get
awesome.
integrate into them, um, especially before day one, like mainnet, because we
Right,
expect like a lot of obviously there will be a lot of hype and a lot of like volume going through Monad day one, and
right,
especially forward. And also, like, their
right.
execution, what they have, their tech stack is pretty cracked,
It is.
so
Yeah.
we expect a lot of, like, trades to probably get routed, around there.
Right,
They're doing some very innovative things.
right.
Um And so, yeah, we plan to already working with a lot of the projects that are like we met here as well. We're expanding past that to like, some of the main projects that are building.
For sure.
Yeah, and the idea is, I mean, that's always the idea, right? So we go
Right.
to unify basically every ecosystem together.
Right. Because you
And
guys
then
are
that
the
will be possible.
cross-chain agentic infrastructure, right? So Monad
100%.
obviously wants access and to integrate you guys because they realize like, oh shit, this is a great way for people to start getting onto our chain or getting, liquidity or money or whatever you want to call it
Mhm.
onto Monad. That makes total sense to me. Um,
And
very,
another like
yeah,
yeah, another like use case for like like for users. So it's like it's kind of interesting to think about this. It's kind of like a
right,
byproduct that wasn't intended, but it just kind of happens. So every time you trade, for example, like imagine that like I'm sure like a lot of those protocols on Monad or anybody who we integrate will have like their own kind of incentive programs or points programs, right?
right,
Um, you actually can like farm through our farm pretty efficiently through our system because it's like uh to the like the underlying protocol, the user looks like as if their user was on their protocol. It's the same
right.
wallet. You can actually go on protocols and see your position open if you really wanted
Interesting.
to. So you actually like you get double the incentives for doing the same action by utilizing
Right.
Simpson's terminal because it's you get our program points and then you get the other people's
Huh.
program points. And so it's very effective in that manner.
Interesting. Very interesting. So you could actually farm stuff pretty effectively. Wow. I don't think a lot of people know that at all. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Monads, for those who don't know, Monads in testnet currently,
Mhm.
and they have not gone to mainnet. They're supposed to be an airdrop too, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a
People
big one.
there's been a lot of chatter on on the timeline from that.
Yeah, I started farming it in the early days a little bit. I kind of dropped off when the market and virtuals started popping again, but yeah, that's very interesting for those of you out there that like to farm the airdrops and try to, if you want to double dip, you could potentially use Simpson to kind of have an on-chain footprint in multiple places at once. That's pretty crazy, actually. Um, all
Oh,
right.
one
So,
thing I did
yeah,
actually forget to
yeah,
mention too,
yeah.
just
Go
real
ahead.
quick,
Yeah,
is
for
that
sure.
you can actually trade stocks as well on our chain or on
Mm,
our protocol.
hmm.
Yeah. So you can trade
Forgot
like
about that.
Coinbase, like UCI have here. You can trade like Nvidia. You can trade like Tesla, any of them, and
That's
equities
crazy.
like QQQ and stuff like that during market hours.
Can I take perps?
Yeah, it's perps. Yeah.
Is it perps? I thought it
Yeah,
was.
it's
Yeah,
perps.
that's
Yeah.
crazy, dude. Yeah, that's awesome because you know what? Do we have any other agents on virtuals that can do that? I don't think there are, to be honest. Like Simpson is so
Uh,
undervalued on virtuals.
sleeping.
It is a sleeper. You guys got to check out Simp. I mean, it's what 3.5 million market cap or something like that right now. I mean, their tech is just like far superior to most agents on virtuals. They got it completely. The underlying company itself, it's just the technology they have developed over 2 years is just unmatched. There's no competitors to it whatsoever. So check them out. Get on Simp. Um, get your bag because it's definitely one of those things where when people figure out how useful it is, it's going to be one of the most valuable AI agents in the entire crypto space. So I appreciate you coming on stream, Chopin. Definitely love talking to you. I would love to do another stream with you, within the next
100%.
couple weeks or months or something like that. I know there's a
Mhm.
lot in the pipeline for both Symphony and Simpson. Um, any last words to the people watching right now? We got 544 people watching right now. Any last
Awesome.
words?
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, Nick. This has been fantastic. Always a pleasure talking with you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, just yeah, for anybody listening, yeah, come join our community, come check us out. Our Twitter for Symphony is SympsonAI, and then you can find Simpson through that as well. So simp_AI. Yeah, and then now's the best time for people to try out the terminal, right? Because we have the ongoing
right.
competition So join in the competition. You could win a lot of money. And just basically like play around the tech, drop any feedback you have, always happy to learn. And if you have any questions, anybody, please don't hesitate to, ping me in the community channels or like in my DMs on Twitter or whatnot. But yeah, thank you so much for having me on. This has been fantastic. And there's a lot of great stuff coming out for us. So definitely keep an ear to the ground on the news. Because things are only accelerating from here. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you guys have any questions about Simp, you can find Chopin on X. You can always ask me. I can direct you to him. But it's a very good project. It's been around for a long time, and their development is basically second to none. So we'll call it at that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Chopin.
appreciate it, man.
Yep, we'll do another one very soon. Looking forward to what you guys have to bring to the table.
Awesome. All right.
Yep.
Cheers, guys.